Trey, thank you so much for that detailed report. And as we further our coverage of breaking news headlines related to the conflict in the Middle East, as all of this is happening, we also understand that the American military is taking another stab at delivering aid to hungry Palestinians by sea. This after several fits and starts for that $230 million pier, which is now up and running again. Joining us live this morning to further break down this conflict in the Middle East is national security expert with the University of New Haven, Mr. Ken Gray. Good morning to you, Ken. Always a pleasure.
Good morning, Jeane. Good to be with you again.
Glad to have you. A lot to break down. We know that the conflict with Israel and Hezbollah continues to increase at this hour. Also, looking at that $230 million aid pier, there were a lot of people upset that a lot of money was spent on this pier. And then for a while, it wasn't even able to be used. But now learning this morning, it is back up and running.
Yeah, that pier, when it is functioning as it was designed to function, will not deliver the humanitarian aid necessary to keep the Gaza Strip from suffering from malnutrition, from starvation. It delivers only a very small portion of the required humanitarian aid that needs to get into the Gaza Strip to keep people from starving. And so the pier is back operational. It broke up because of high seas. Right now, it's functional once again, but that does not mean another storm may not come in and take it out again, or Hamas has actually carried out strikes against the pier before. It may do that once again. So the pier is functional, but as to being able to relieve the starvation going on, we will see how that plays out.
And you actually just mentioned what I was thinking of, the potential risk of this pier being attacked again by Hamas. If we look back, we know that Hamas was saying they weren't taking any of that humanitarian aid, but when they were pulled out of the tunnel several times, they were pulled out with aid. Many people wanting to know, why would they attack a pier that would have the aid that they would allegedly take and use for their own consumption?
Hamas uses the Palestinian civilians as a weapon against Israel. And to Hamas, having a starving population is a useful tool to try to get the world opinion on their side. And so when they attack the pier, when they attack the humanitarian aid coming in there, not only are they seizing that aid for themselves, but they are also using the civilian population as a tool, as a weapon against Israel.
And as we discussed that pier, I changed a shot to recent video we've gotten with the Israeli Defense Forces. As we know, the conflict in the Middle East continues, not only with Israel and Hamas, but also with Israel and Hezbollah. Are there any updates you have on that front? So many different entities and terrorist organizations out in that region that are combating with Israel.
So fighters all across the axis of resistance have volunteered to go to Hezbollah, to go and fight in southern Lebanon in the event that Israel attacks Hezbollah. Right now, the leader of Hezbollah, Nasrallah, has said that they do not need the additional forces. However, we know that there are already members of the Syrians and the Iraqi different militant groups inside southern Lebanon. And so they are already present, but not in the large numbers that are volunteering to go there. But in actuality, it's Iran that is the threat here. It is Iran that Israel should be dealing with, and not trying to punish these proxies. They should really be going to the source of their problem.
So glad you mentioned that, because yesterday we were learning that Hamas has regrouped out in Baghdad. So it just seems like this invasion and the concern for this conflict seems to widen, even though we know that they are trying to scale it back at this hour.
We've been discussing the possibility of a regional conflict ever since October 8th. And so this, with Hezbollah, the intensity of the exchanges across the border on the increase, and Israel starting to think about actually opening up a second front there with Hezbollah. They've been moving assets out of Gaza Strip and moving them north because don't forget, a number of Israelis had to leave their homes there on the northern part of Israel because of the threat of attack by Hezbollah. And Israel wants to be able to have them to return back to their homes there in northern Israel. And consequently, the possibility of this becoming a regional conflict increases on a daily basis. Anthony Blinken has been trying to get the Israelis to scale back. Interestingly enough, Benny Gantz said that in the event that they have to go to war with Hezbollah, that they should be able to handle the military threat of Hezbollah very quickly. I'm not so sure about that, in that Hezbollah is supposed to have a very large arsenal, something like 150,000 missiles, and that allows them the ability to continue launching missiles on a daily basis into Israel and be a constant thorn in their side.
Ken Gray, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us bright and early this Wednesday morning for these breaking news alerts. Anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
You know, the Netanyahu is under pressure now with the decision by the court there in Israel that the ultra-Orthodox have got to be draftable. This was an exemption for them that has been in existence since 1949. With the right after Israel was formed as a country, and they fought the initial war against all the Arab countries around them. The ultra-Orthodox was very small number that were studying the Torah at that time. They are now draftable in preparation for this regional conflict. There are members of the Prime Minister's cabinet that are in there because he is supporting their avoidance of that draft, with the court ruling that no longer to be the case. The Prime Minister may see another attack on his rule there of his coalition. It actually may call into question whether or not he can continue being Prime Minister because of this issue.
Ken Gray, thank you again for joining us for these breaking news alerts. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
And as we continue to bring you coverage right here on Live Now from Fox, again, giving you another live look there, southern Israel looking into Gaza. Now it's 6:26 here on the East Coast. We're going to go to our second 2-minute commercial break of the hour. And when we come back, of course, following those breaking news alerts, top stories and live events of your Wednesday morning.